when you open up Civil 3D, there's this Start tab. And in the Start tab, there are various sections. So on the right here, these are the recent drawings that I've opened, that I've worked on recently. As you can see, on Monday, which is today, I opened up a certain drawing. I opened up this drawing called Corridors Class. On Sunday, which is yesterday, I worked on brake pressure chambers. Yeah, so here, the projects you've recently worked on, you don't have to look for them if they are hidden somewhere in your computer and you cannot find them. You just come to the recent tab or the recent area and you access the drawing that you're supposed to access. And then here on the left, you can open files within your drawing. You can open a sheet set. A sheet set is basically a set of sheets. Sheets here meaning layouts that you want to, that you've converted maybe to PDF. So you can open up a sheet set. You can open up a file in your computer. So this academia drawings, you can access where you've stored your files elsewhere. You can access that, access files. You can open up a new drawing using a template. You can browse the templates that you have in your templates folder. So currently we just have the default templates, which the metric template and the imperial template. So the metric is used in such a country as ours. We were colonized by the British and they used to use metric formats. So here you can open up a new drawing using a new template. If you have created your own template and saved it in the template folder, you can also open up a drawing using your template. So a template basically consists of various styles. So if you want, if your corridor or your surface, if you're creating your surface, you usually like it a certain way. So if you open using your template, each time you create using your template, the surface will show up or will display in a certain style that you usually like. We'll get to know about those things later. Here at the recent area as well, as you can see, you have Beam 360. Beam 360 is a tool for collaboration. So if you want to collaborate with other people in the Autodesk network and you have Beam, there's a software called Beam, Building Information Modeling. If you have it, you can come and collaborate with other people. These are things which are futuristic, which I think they are catching up with us, and very soon we'll start adopting Beam. So Beam 360 is a place where you can be able to interact with other users. Next is the learning area. This is where you access tutorials, getting started videos. As you can see, there's some tutorials here. You can access how to create a surface. Just click there, open in browser, and so on and so forth. And then down here in blue, anything in blue means when you click it, you go online. So if I click on what's new, I'm able to know what's new in this version. Like previously to Civil 3D 2021, there was Civil 3D 2020. So each time they release a new version, there are some new tools or some new things that happen in the new version. Normally, not much change, but usually every year they try to improve on Civil 3D. So what's new? You can know what's new from here. If you want some online help, you're searching maybe for a certain thing that's a headache. You've reached a dead end and you want to know something, you just search it online. Here the community forum also is another online tool where you can ask other Civil 3D users about when you get stuck. You can go there and ask people, and you wait for some time and someone may respond to your query. Next is the customer support. Here also you give or rather you're given support from Autodesk on various topics or various matters concerning Civil 3D. And that's the start area for you. Then when you go to a drawing, this is an existing drawing that we did in a previous class. I think it was about, we had created surfaces, we had even done, I mean, the cross sections of the road. Okay, so but today we are learning about the user interface first. So I'll start from up here. Up here, this is what we call the application menu. When I click on this C on Civil 3D, I'm accessing the application menu, and the application menu has common commands that we usually know from various or across various software, like the new drawing, the new file, opening up a file. These are commands that you can find in even Microsoft and other software. Okay, but there are some other unique commands here, like publish. You can publish, let's say you have this set of layouts here, you can publish them into one output or one book. This is print, and you can access also other drawing utilities. You can convert DWG to 2D. You can recover when maybe Civil 3D closes accidentally and you want to recover files that you were working on. So you can come here to recover and try to recover. And then very important here in the application menu is the option. Is the options command. Here you can save. I like to come here first of all and select the version in which I want to save my drawings. So if you have Civil 3D 2021, you see the latest version you can save in is AutoCAD 28 DWG 2018, I mean. So if a user, another engineer probably who has a license from 2013 wants to access your drawings, and he has Civil 3D 2014, you see, if you save it in AutoCAD 2018 drawing, he cannot access that drawing because it's in a later version. So what I first of all do, I usually assume that most users will have 2014 going onwards. So when I open up Civil 3D, I usually come first of all and put my saving version as 2013. So let me close again. I come to the application menu. I go to options and I go to open and save, and then I come to file, I mean save, and which version do I want to be saving as? Each time I close my drawing, I want to save as 2013 version. Another thing here that's worth mentioning in the options area, as you can see, my background is white. This is the workspace. In the background here, this is my working space, and the background of these Civil 3D objects, this is a surface, this is a viewport. So the background there is white. So I want to change it into the common color that we are used to. I want to change it to black, let's say. So here at the color theme, this does not control this background. It controls how the ribbons and these other areas of Civil 3D look like. So currently you can see this is dark. So if I want to change this background, I come to the display tab, to the colors here, window elements, colors. Okay, and here on my right, so as you can see, interface element, uniform background, it's been set to white. Okay, I changed it a while back simply because I had a drawing that I wanted to see some elements, and when the background was black, I couldn't see it properly. Okay, let me admit someone in. So I couldn't see the objects properly when the background was black, so I changed it into white. Okay, so let me set it back to black. Okay, and then I apply. As you can see, the interface or the background has changed to black, and I can close it. So there are various other things also you can control in this options command or in this options dialog. Okay, so let me close this for now. Those are just some of the things you can change in your options. And as I do that, allow me to invite Akuku. Welcome. To just welcome Akuku, who has just joined us. Welcome. And I hope you can hear me. Okay. Now up here, this is what we call the quick access toolbar. Just right next to the application menu is the quick access toolbar. So before we go to the quick access toolbar, here there's another interesting thing here that we did not mention. As you can see here, it's written search commands. So you can search for the commands, you know them by name, but you do not know where they are situated in Civil 3D. So let's say you want to know where the copy command in Civil 3D is. Okay, so you can come to search commands and write copy. Okay, when you type in copy, best matches come here. So that command, you can find it at the ribbon tab, or at the ribbon, I mean, at the home tab, and then at the modify panel. So that's where copy command is. So we'll see that soon. So that's the application menu. Let's now go to the quick access toolbar. At the quick access toolbar, you also have similar commands to the ones we saw. In the application menu, the new command, the open files, this is save. And then we have a very interesting command here. So let's say you do not have Civil 3D or AutoCAD at a remote place where you can access internet. Okay, so here you can open drawings that you've saved in the cloud. If you have an account like I do, you are able to save drawings in the Autodesk cloud. So you can, if you have a drawing in the web, in the cloud, you can open it up from here. I've just clicked that. So as you can see here, I have a couple of drawings that I've saved in the cloud. Okay, so I can click on that and go and access them from the cloud. Okay, and if I have internet, sorry, I've just opened that one on Civil 3D, yes, but if I have internet, I can go to Autodesk Web. And do drawings from there. I'll show you that later. But you can be able to do Civil 3D drawings from the web. But it only allows for the simple AutoCAD commands or tools like drawing lines, drawing circles, but not Civil 3D. Okay, so this allows you to save or to open files. Here is just saving to the web. Okay, and then this is printing, and then up here at the quick access toolbar is something very interesting. This is the workspace. So we have different workspaces. Currently we are the Civil 3D workspace. So each workspace has a set of tools which are common to that workspace or are common to the title. Like for Civil 3D, it means when I'm in this workspace, I'm able to access the tools that are or the commands and icons which enable me to do the civil works. If I go to drafting and annotation workspace, I go to like a more traditional kind of AutoCAD, okay? Because here we are only doing drafting, which is drawing lines and curves, and then annotating. Annotating basically is just naming them, dimensioning, okay? So if I go to the drafting and annotation tab, if you've used AutoCAD before, this is how AutoCAD without Civil 3D part looks like. So you can draw lines, you can draw arcs, you can draw circles, and then you can assign them layers. Okay. And then next we can go to the 3D modeling workspace and see what the 3D modeling workspace does. So the 3D modeling workspace is what is usually used by those by the mechanical engineers most of the times, because they're the ones who want to show the 3D how objects look like in 3D. They want to show how a screw looks like in 3D. They want to show how a bike or a vehicle looks in 3D. So the 3D modeling is there for such. Okay, so let's say maybe you draw a square or a rectangle like that. So 3D modeling enables you to create a 3D object from it. Okay, so maybe let's just orient this into a perspective kind of orientation, and we can go to the extrude command. You can select the object, and then I can be able to extrude this object into a Civil 3D object. Okay, so using 3D modeling, you can do such kind of a work, or you can create 3D models. You can make them, you can change their colors, and so on and so forth. But in this course, we'll be dwelling much on the Civil 3D platform. Here we also have on the workspace, we have a planning and analysis workspace, which is commonly used for GIS, for modifying GIS data or information. So here you can add GIS data. Okay, you can create a connection and add various kind of shapefiles, raster data, and so on and so forth. Okay, so but we'll be dwelling much on Civil 3D. So the Civil 3D workspace has these commands and these icons. So as I said before, we have ribbons, and here this is the ribbon, and the ribbon has various tabs. Okay, this is home tab, the insert tab. So these tabs house the commands which are common to that name. At home, these are the commonly used commands. So the home houses the commonly used commands. If you're creating objects, you're creating a profile, you're creating an alignment for a road, you're creating a corridor, you're grading a surface, you're creating an assembly, you're creating an intersection. So the home has the commonly used commands. You can draw a line, you can modify a line, you can move something. Okay, and then on the insert tab, this is where you import, or you can reference other data. You can import blocks, you can import other files, you can reference a file from another file. Let's say you have two files which are too large, and you don't want to maybe have a surface which is causing your computer to lag. So you reference that surface from another drawing, and there your computer is relieved of a certain burden of having all those objects into one and computing all that work in one platform. So you can insert blocks, you can insert various objects into Civil 3D. Here you can also import from InfraWorks. If you know the software InfraWorks, you can import survey data from here. The annotate tab, this is where you can name anything. If you do not know how to name anything in Civil 3D, any Civil 3D object, you can come to the annotate tab. If you do not know how to name contours, if you want maybe the height of this or the elevation of this contour to display, we all know that contours are points or are lines of similar elevation. So if this is maybe 1400 above sea level, this part is also 1400 above sea level. So if you don't know how to maybe name that, you can come to labels, come to annotate tab, come to labels. select, this is a surface, so you can select surface, go to contour, makes it very easy for you to name anything, any Civil 3D object. So you can go to contour, click on a contour. So Civil 3D will ask you to select contour. We've selected the contour, and then we can put a label there. Ask us to select another label, another part. Let's see. See, it's 4.4. This one is 4.4. Okay. So if you do not know how to label anything on Civil 3D, just come to annotate, and here you'll find most of the objects in Civil 3D. Civil 3D has surfaces, has figures, has parcels, has catchments, pipe networks. Okay, has lines, alignments. If you want to label all those things, just come to this part here. Okay. You can either click on this or come down here. If you click on this, a dialog will show up, and here you'll also see feature. Okay, but we'll delve on that much later. So I'm on the user interface, the annotate tab. What does it do? And next I'll go to the modify tab. The modify tab has modification tools. So let's say you have a certain alignment, you want to chamfer, you want to create a curve, a smooth curve. You can edit geometry from here. You can add a point of intersection. Okay, PI is just basically a point of intersection. Yeah, so that modifies. And then next we can go to analyze tab. The analyze tab allows you to perform various analysis in Civil 3D. It also allows you to export Civil 3D to other platforms. Okay, allows you to export your designs to other platforms. As you can see here, if let's say you are doing a storm and sanitary network, you are doing a sanitary network somewhere. So you've laid your manholes here, like as you can see here. This was a design that we did with a previous class. So here there's a manhole. This is a sewer system beside this road. So there's a manhole, and then there's a pipe sloping downwards. So if you want to analyze this and see whether it handles certain flows, you can select it. Okay, and you edit in storm and sanitary. Okay, you can export to SSA. Okay, or you can come to analyze tab and click on edit in storm and sanitary. So it asks you, what am I editing in storm and sanitary? So you come and select the network. Okay, so the analyze tab houses the commands that allow you as the designer to perform certain analysis. You can compute materials. You created your corridor. You want to know how much of pavement A, layer A, is in this corridor. You can come and compute the materials. How much excavations are in this road? You can come and compute materials from here. Next is the view tab. The view tab allows you to change the various views in Civil 3D. Like currently we have only one viewport here. Okay, so let's say I want to view this road both in 3D and in 2D. Currently we are viewing it in plan, so it is in 2D. So I want to view it in both. So I can put two viewports here, and on this viewport, double click in it, I put this on 3D. Okay, and zoom in and see how that looks like. Okay, okay, so when you have maybe the road and you want to see it, and you have maybe your section somewhere and you want to see, as you want to see it in various orientations, so you can change the views and you can change the number of viewports. Let me return it to a single one. Okay, you can change those viewports into the numbers you want, and you can control how they look like through the visual styles. If you want it to look realistic, currently we are at 2D wireframe, which is good for design. So if you want it to look more realistic, you can change that to that. Yeah, so here next we'll go to the manage tab. So let's say, as you can see, in the manage tab, this is where you manage various commands. If you want to customize commands, if you are a coder and you want to customize your own commands, you can come to the manage tab and do that. Here you can create data shortcuts. As we said in the insert tab, you can reference other drawings. Here on create data shortcuts, you can also do that, which enables you also to relieve your drawing from a lot of computation. So you can create a data shortcut which enables you to access maybe a surface in another drawing. Okay, we'll see that in future. Here you can also import styles. You can import styles. As you can see, let me show you what I mean. We can change, this is a surface. I can change its style, how it appears. So surface properties. Let me change the surface style. I click on the surface. I right click and go to surface properties. Let me change this surface style to something else. Let me go to contours, 2 meters and 10 meters design, and then I apply. As you can see, the style has changed. Okay. So if you've done your drawing maybe and you've set the right styles, you're satisfied with how your drawing looks like, and then you save your drawing. If you go to another drawing, if you go to a new drawing, the styles that you set will not automatically come into the new drawing unless you saved that drawing as a template and you open the new drawing with that template. But if you do not do that, you can come to the import styles command and you import these styles to the new drawing. You just go about doing your surface with the styles that are in default, and then you import from a drawing that you had all the styles set up properly. Okay, and that new drawing will have the styles that you had set up. Okay, and then let's go to the output tab. The output tab is where you now create your output. You know, when you're working on this platform, you have to take this to a PDF or to a layout for printing and sending to the client. Okay, so this output tab automates that process for you. Like if I go to this section layout, okay, I did not set up these sections. I did not create them one by one and bring them together. Civil 3D enabled me to do this using the output tab. As you can see here, create section sheets, and then I created these sheets, sheet 2, sheet 3, out of these commands. So even the plan and profiles, if I want to create maybe plans and profiles in a sheet, let me see whether I have a plan and profile here. No, I do not have it here. But if I want to automate that process of creating a plan and profile, I can come to the output tab. First of all, create view frames, and then I create sheets with plan and profile. We'll cover that in future. Okay. Then next, survey tab. This is rarely used by civil engineers, mostly used by surveyors. So here is where you access most of the survey commands, but this is quite complex because this requires you to input your survey data in a certain way, so that maybe you import the survey data as figures, and so on and so forth. So this we won't cover much on survey. So rail tab, this is for railway design. Transparent commands, these are commands you use within other commands. Okay, we'll see that in future. This is also allows collaboration with InfraWorks, another AutoCAD software for conceptual design. Next is the collaborate, also another collaboration area where you can publish to ArcGIS. Okay, publish surfaces. Okay, the help, this is where you can access tutorials. If you do not have tutorials, or you're looking for material to just help you learn, there are various learning resources here that you can access. You can come here and click on tutorials. You can get videos. You can download online help, learning resources, various learning resources. Okay, and then here add-ins is where you add other apps into Civil 3D. Like the Civil 3D can collaborate with HECRAS. HECRAS is a software, maybe is a software that handles river things, flow and all that. So you can go to apps manager and look for an app and add it in through add-ins. Okay, these are other featured apps. Okay, and Express tools. This is just commonly used tools that you can also include in Civil 3D or AutoCAD. So next we'll explore the tool space. Next, on my left here, we have the tool space. Okay, this is a tool space. Okay, I can drag it from here and I can take it back again. And if I want to minimize it, I don't want to see it, I want to expand my area here, I can click it off. Okay, so the tool space is very important because all the objects that you create in Civil 3D can be found here or are populated here at the tool space. And the tool space has 4 tabs. One, the prospector tab, next the settings tab, next the survey tab, and next the toolbox tab. But we'll be dwelling much in the prospector and the settings tab. Okay, and if you want to remove, let's say, the survey tab because you do not use it much, you can come and put it off here. Okay, as you can see, the survey tab has disappeared. So the displays are controlled from up here. Okay, the same way the tool space disappears when I toggle it off here, same way the other tabs disappear. Okay, so the prospector houses all the objects that are in Civil 3D. So like this is an object, this is a surface. Okay, when I created it, it was populated here. Okay, so currently we have 3 surfaces. Okay, so one is this surface, and as you can see here, there's a preview. So there's a surface, a corridor surface. On top of the corridor, I created a surface. So, and then if I click on the next one, so that's the surface. Okay, the whole surface that we have selected. And this is another surface also. The reason why it is not being displayed, it's because the style is set up to no display. So the same way we change this style to a 2 meter design style, and it showed the minor contours in red and then the major contours in green. It's the same way we can change this style to no display. So let's check whether it's set to no display. So surface, let's click on datum surface and click on properties. As you can see, it's set up to no display. That's why we cannot see it. Okay, so alignments, if you create an alignment, if it was a center line alignment, it will come and populate on the prospector. Okay, so here this is an alignment. Okay, we can select it. You can select it from here. If you do not know where it is in the drawing or in the workspace, you can come, right click and select it. Okay, as you can see, it's now selected. You can tell by the grips that are now showing up. So that was the center line alignment for this road corridor. So any object you create, it will show up in the prospector. Okay, so next is the settings tab of the tool space. So at the settings, this is where you control much of the general settings in Civil 3D. Okay, so if I come to the corridor, this drawing is called Corridors Class 5, and then I right click up there, I go to Edit Drawing Settings. Okay, I'm able to access this dialog box, and I can do various settings from this dialog box. Okay, I can set up the projection of my area. If let's say this drawing was done in Nairobi, okay, I can set up the projection. I hope you guys did survey in school and you remember those things about projection. So you can take this drawing to where it is located in the world, okay? So if your survey was done correctly and the points were done correctly and you brought that data into Civil 3D and you created a surface from it, you can take it now. Let's say it's in Nairobi, it's in Rongai. You can take it to Rongai. So I can come to Kenya and then coordinate systems, okay? Remember, these are the available coordinate systems for Kenya. So I usually take this. Most of the survey data I get is usually done in UTM, Universal Transfers Marketer system. So if it's Nairobi is the south of the equator, right? So I know I can select 37 north or 36 north. And then when it comes to the UTM zone, I know Nairobi is not in 36, it is in 37. Okay, because we know the world is divided into 60 UTM zones. Okay, and Kenya lies in between the 36th and the 37th. So for Nairobi, I know it is not in the 36th side, it is in the 37. It's not in the north, so probably it will be in the 37 south. Okay, and you can set that up in drawing settings. Okay, so we'll see that in future. Okay, so here you can set up, and once you choose a projection, this transformation tabs becomes obsolete because you already know where the earth, where that part, where your drawing or your design is located on the earth, so you don't need to transform it again. And then these are the default layers. If I create an alignment, it goes to C road. Okay, if I wanted to go to another layer, I can create a new one and assign it that layer, but currently we have this as the default layers. So if you want to change, if let's say you're creating an alignment, you're creating an assembly and you want it to be in another layer, I hope you guys know about layers. Layers are in AutoCAD, so you can change the default layers. And then there are abbreviations. You will notice when we are doing Civil 3D and maybe we annotate. Sorry. So if you are naming certain objects, okay, let's say this is I want to select the alignment. Let's go back to Prospector. I select this alignment, select it. Okay. Let me just click on properties. Sorry, let me do this. I want to add labels to this alignment. Okay, I'll go to where we went at the annotate tab. I told you can label any object, so it's an alignment. Let's just click on that icon up there. The feature is an alignment, so I want to name that alignment. Okay, so the label type, I want to name the segments. The segments are the straight lines and the curves. Okay, so I want to label the segments. Let me just take those default label styles. For the line, I will name it. For the curve, you see this alignment is a line and then it curves at some point. Okay, so they will be named, they will be given those labels. Let me just label them like that. Okay, so I add, and I'm prompted to select an alignment. Okay, let me select this label, see whether it will be able. Yeah, so that label is part of the alignment. The reason why it's not picking the alignment is because the alignment is underneath the corridor. Okay, so when I do label, you'll see certain abbreviations that you may not know. What is L? Okay, so if I go back to settings tab I right click and go to edit drawings and I go to abbreviations, I'm able to know when I see L is equals to what that means. Okay, so L basically means left. Okay, and when you name other things, you'll basically see some labels coming in abbreviations. And if you do not know what an abbreviation means, you just come to settings and you come to abbreviations and you check what does that abbreviation mean. Okay, so those are the settings. So another very important thing under settings is here, the last tab called the ambient settings, here at the general tab. Okay, as you can see, when I hover over commands, okay, let me just close this first. If I hover over this, I get tips on what this command does. So dimension, it starts at the dimension command. If I go to home, hover over scale, it tells me what that command does. It enlarges or reduces an object proportionally in the X, Y, and Z directions. So those tips, I can turn them off here at the settings tab. At my drawing, edit drawing settings, I can go to ambient settings. I can say no, because if you put it to no, it also saves you your computer some energy. Okay, I can apply. Let me see if I hover over that. Okay, this is because it still displays, because in the pipe network settings there's an override over the general settings. Let me see whether I can get the pipe networks. Okay, let me see whether it will apply now. Okay, still showing. I wonder why. Okay, but basically, if you, that's what the show tooltips, those are the tooltips that are controlled using that edit settings command. Sometimes Civil 3D acts up and does contrary to what you wanted to do. So we were at the tool space. Let's finish on that, on the user interface. So down here is what we call the status bar. The status bar tells you what is happening in your workspace. Like currently here you can see OSNAP is turned on. Okay, if I'm doing maybe a line, I'm doing the line command. So as you can see, Civil 3D is telling me where I can, it's giving me options on where I can start my line. Okay, if I don't want to be given those options, I can set that off. And when I'm drawing my line, as you can see, there are no tooltips. So the status bar is for such functionality, and here you can decide on what shows up in the status bar or what does not. Okay, so if I want to add maybe line weight, I can add it, and here it displays. If I don't want it down there, I can remove it. Okay, so and then on my right here we have what we call the transparent commands. You can access them from either this tab or from here. Okay, so transparent commands are used within other commands. We'll see what that means.